Okay, Taurus. Hey guys, as always, this is designed to help each and every one of you and any people that you know as well, even catalyze and cognize onto the highest frequency network that is currently available to you, with always the opportunity to move closer and closer to what you are desiring. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. Let's take a nice deep breath in. Hold. And out. Let's go again. In. Hold. And a nice sigh out. And we'll do that again. Hold. And out. We'll do one more time, and then you're going to go ahead and hum a bit longer. In. Hold. And now go ahead and sigh out with a hum. As always, if your body wants to move a bit, let it move, let it shake, let it somatically release. It's always happening for you and through you as opposed to you. So don't be too worried. Be curious. Curious is really great. You can also be confused, but it's always a good thing not to be too confused by the confusion. Yeah, just kind of take it easy. So, Taurus, good old second. I think you guys are the second zodiac. Pretty sure. I guess Aries, yeah, then Taurus. I know that. My dad's an Aries and my stepmom's a Taurus. So, oh, that's super interesting, hey? It's amazing how we can just not think about things for so long. Let's see, we got, and you guys see that, I think, so, Taurus. Okay, so Taurus, first thing that comes to mind is a toroidal field. So you're wanting to take stock, the fast-moving New Year energy. I mean, that this reading is timeless, but if you are catching it right at the beginning of 2024, as we're moving into the year of 8 abundance, or as we're landing in the year of 8, for the Gregorian style, yeah. As that's occurring, it's going to be creating some form of a disconnect in a way, because let's face it, you guys like to move a little bit slower and more properly, comfortably, and in a way that is aligned, which is very, very intelligent of you guys, than many of us as other zodiacs, and that's okay. But it does mean that your toroidal field is wanting to just tune. It just needs the right opportunity and framing to kind of best take advantage of this time. So make sure that you open some time just to tune in and find a frame of excitement. So guys, once again, these drawings and all the text is Reiki infused. The intention with it is to help catalyze. So it's, when I say Reiki infused, really I'm saying it's I'm intending and willing for the highest energy possible and frequency possible that's based in love and through love to move in and through. Yeah, I feel like one of the things, Taurus, is currently that you might have a lot of pleasure and joy, and maybe you've stepped out of your comfort zone a bit, which has been really good, but it is remembering to root yourself in love and through love. So let's go ahead and grab a card and see what we've got. Let's shuffle first. So please would you give me the right card for Taurus and what they need to know now, and just help them flip and level up, bro. Let's have our Taurians level up. Like they got all the taurine and guarana, and they were just like, oh my gosh, yeah guys, let's flip and go mental. Okay, so we got one jumping for joy, as joy actually jumps to the front, and we have another one, 3 in total, of unity. Okay, so when you get excited, you'll start recognizing the unity that's actually around you. the opportunity that exists all around you for you to be connected and whole. This might feel a little bit difficult in the beginning, and like it takes you out of your comfort zone, and that's okay. You want to remember the compound effect due to the fractal nature of our lives, and the fact that whatever you put your energy on will grow. So taking time to actually feel into spaces that are difficult or hurtful or anything like that is actually a very healthy way to start allowing yourself to grow and be more comfortable with whatever is arising. Because if you allow yourself to move through that discomfort, you'll find that there's then a new comfort level. And this, this keeps happening, this keeps seeding. So wanting to allow that fractal nature of life to start bringing you the choices and the spaces to express and to be. Because those then, start creating this energetic halo of authenticity. And basically that's just a super nice and silly way of saying you're going to start actually experiencing more of the comfort, the joy, the homes, the relationships, the business ventures that you're actually wanting to be a part of. And that's really cool, because as a sign that does enjoy the comfort the way that they want it, predominantly, look, I am making a stereotype there, you got me, guys. But if you're moving from a space of comfort, you're getting to a space of discomfort. And as we start reworking these ideas of discomfort into, okay, this is something that I can address and work on, you're going to start finding that you have a lot more energy available to you. All of these in-between spaces are going to not just be like, oh, it's just there. It's going to be like, oh, it's all of this like networked space and opportunity. And if I change the way that I'm moving, the things I'm moving with change. And that's really cool because it shows us the actual power we almost have in a way. And the ability, importantly, to release trapped energy. Because energy that's trapped does want to always move. Energy is always wanting to move. And when we start allowing it to flow, we really start to actually find ourselves. Because it's only that we see ourselves while doing, that we recognize the life force moving through us. Because otherwise we are identified and attached to something or some aspect of ourselves. There's some really great things which speak about it. I must research it myself. I must properly brush up, but it's the point at the back of the skull. So if this is the front of the brain, the back of the brain, where this joins to the spinal column, that point right there would be the human ego, the limbic system, I think. Please do not quote me on that. I'm going to have to research it and update it in the comments when I get it. But that point right there is where, our human ego exists and resides and is attached, basically. And if we're attached to that, we're always going to be, making these choices outside of the circle of unity. And there's nothing wrong with that in a way, but it's not really, where our deepest frame of excitement exists. Because our deepest frame of excitement is this funnel of crown source energy that pours down. Okay, let me actually just draw it a little bit better, shall we? Okay, gosh, we rubbed some of the excitement out in our excitement. I think that's okay. There we go. So we've got this that then pours down. And then from that, you see it's gonna all channel in. And basically, according to how, much space we've opened up to multi-sensorially, mindfully, take in information will determine how readily available that information is to be, perceived by us and then moved with. And it's opportunity, basically. And that's where, all of this creativity comes in, because it's creative elements. And that's also where the most important part of it, because it's okay to just be rooted in yourself and in the way that you create, but you're wanting to ask yourself, what am I expressing through this? And that's where this idea of the divine and how it is that they're expressing through you is very important, because you're constantly wanting to be like, well, I find it very useful. I'm not going to tell you how to live your life, but I'm going to let the whole operation of motion that we're speaking about happens, so you can have an idea, an inkling. It's my hope, it's my faith, that you're going to allow yourself to actually be like, okay, hot damn, I like making butter pastry. I don't like butter pastry, I don't eat butter, but anyway, I like making butter pastry, and it's something that I enjoy doing, so I'm going to allow myself to do it and share it with people, because I don't like to just eat butter pastry myself, but I also love sharing the love that I have with other people, and finding like little recipes or little bits that I enjoy, and finding ways to, you know, make that unique. And that's, you know, that's kind of a piece of unity. A piece of unity is also to go in and be like, okay, my mate's vegan, let me figure out a vegan recipe just once, because hey, fuck you being vegan. But also like, cool, you're making choices in your life, and that's super cool. You know, no problem with that. Nothing against vegans, nothing against people that aren't vegan. Yeah. The point of it is that your internal joy comes from realizing this unity and the unified circle that you're a part of, and that blank space that gives you the opportunity to actually be a part of this co-creation. And when you're allowing yourself to recognize what it is that gives you a frame of excitement, and how it is that you tune with that, you know, how you choose to create with that, that's when you kind of start allowing, you know, the death of who you thought you were, and that transformation to occur. Because it's such a weird like polarity and dynamic in the fact that through letting go of who we thought we are, we start actually finding who it is that we actually are. You know, because if we let go of everything, whatever remains is what is actually most us. You know, that's super interesting. What's interesting is the fact that, you know, we're obviously going to have these elements moving through us as we move through the cycle. So we'll have fire, water, air, earth, shall we say? Again, guys, some of the symbology is well, the symbology is fine. It's the interpretation that's happening. But anyway, we're moving from a less dense space down into a more dense space. And as we pass the packet of energy through each of these, we're going to have natural processes occur as that alchemical happening happens, you know. And this death isn't necessarily, you know, that everything in your life is changing, but that you are changing towards everything in your life. And it's, you know, it may feel new, it may feel very uncertain, it may feel like, you know, you're not quite the same as you used to be, and that's okay. I do want to remind you that that is okay. You're always going to be moving in the ways that you need to, in the ways that you are actually aligned with. But, you know, you are the creator of your reality, or co-creator, sorry. You know, you do co-create, obviously, with life, but that does still mean that you have the opportunity and the, the responsibility to look at it and to say, okay, how would I like to create now, in this moment, with this information I now have available to me. And sometimes that, you know, can be really difficult. It can call on you to go ahead and, you know, engage in processes that you maybe didn't want to. But there are obviously ways that help you learn things a little bit more quickly. And, you know, that can even be an attachment to how those work. You know, and sometimes what we end up learning is that the whole world and the picture of it is just that. It's a picture, it's a snapshot, and we're always in that connection of functional energy that we move through and as is always in motion. You know, so therefore what we do to one piece is actually happening to all pieces through the unity, and that creates death through our actions, you know, because it's constantly a death of that fractal piece, you know. So you will definitely be finding a big call to learn, and it might be that you're actually more used to the more traditional ways of learning, and you're actually now being called to find completely different ways of approaching that structure and looking at, you know, that viewpoint and that lens as, okay, what is it that I'm looking at? And I'm actually going to start looking at it as this most amazing jewel. Like, it's just got all these incredible facets. And the more I look at it, the shinier it starts becoming. and I'm starting to see all these different worlds within it. And I don't even really know what to do about that. Like, I'm kind of just observing, and you'll find that when you start noticing your left brain to be like, oh, what do I need to do? What is the right way? That's when you want to kind of just say like, oh, thank you guys. Super grateful. But let me actually just appreciate it. I don't actually need to think too much about it, and I need to instead just allow myself to be present. And from that, you can have faith that everything will actually, as it always does, happen. There is a point here on service. That could be serving yourself and doing very little. It could be looking to step up in your community and find out how to actually fill the sum and the space that needs to be done, if something's lacking, if something's needed. But it's always going to be your greatest passion that you're actually wanting to do. You're not wanting to go beyond that. So yeah, like kind of just feel into it. You will know what it is when it's there. You'll have a full body yes. And this idea of full body yes, I feel will be coming a lot more in for you this season, Taurus. You might have like maybe erred on the side of caution because of worry of how it could affect or impact the life around you, but you're now actually are also realizing that the reason you haven't been doing quite so much in a way is because you were still waiting to actually like basically tune your system so that you know when it is that a full body yes is a full body yes, as opposed to just I could, but is it really necessary? And now you've basically gathered enough information that you know exactly when, where, what, and how. That's a pretty cool one, because like the when, where, and what is cool, but the how to get started and then also to keep traction and move forward is really useful. So that's something you'll find popping up a lot these days, and you'll find that it's almost like really exciting, actually. Again, there's this theme of excitement of, gosh, what is it telling me? And it's kind of just saying, okay, check. Cool, we're in, we're listening. Okay, cool. So how is it that we can now use what we're hearing? And, this will resonate for some of you. Some of you will want to know, why am I using it? And some of you will just be like, hey, I don't really care about like knowing about the system. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like, you don't need to know why or where the message is coming from to know it's a good message or not. That's completely all right. But you can kind of become aware of the box that the message is coming from and kind of be like, okay, cool. How can I best respond, and how can I best show love? And as always, it's always just the easiest way to show love is to intend to show love. And then, get real creative, honestly. And like, look, creative is to each person's capability. You can draw, you can write, you can sing, you can... you are blessed enough to be able to do it however you want to do it. Like, for the most part, there's no real right and wrong. And by most part, I mean full stop. We do live in a space where there's a lot of fear and concern and all of these things, and they're beautiful to have, but you're also wanting to just basically remember that you are divinely guided. You are a piece of source creation. That means that you are always held, and there's no part of that whole flow that is separate from all of the rest. That's what this unity is speaking of. So it means that which loves you and gave you life at the true fundamental level of it, depending on how you look at it. I mean, you can shape, spin, and put this any other way that you want, and it's all right, but it's love. It's love, baby. It's fucking love. And look, love can be scary because it opens us up to feeling maybe more than we wish to sometimes feel, but it also gives us freedom. But the freedom's only there when we provide the foundation for freedom and the opportunity to go beyond where it is that we previously felt free. And then these parts together kind of start allowing us to gain little bits of, I actually want to say musicality. Why do I want to say musicality? What's musicality got to do with it, guys, hey? Oh no, sure, that's not it, because that was out of tune. So the idea with the musicality is that we are free to create, but musically we see where it is that it's in tune versus out of tune. And if it's out of tune, that is itself a tune. So from that one tune, you can actually start being like, okay, cool. What is it that it did? And how is that now affecting the whole system? I find there that, it's kind of slowing down a bit, really taking a little bit of time to feel into it and kind of be like, okay, cool, that's kind of what it felt like. Sure, let's just let it be. Let it go. And then again, starting to see it through that beautiful jewel. And kind of just be okay with it, because that feeling is now in your field. It's moving with you. And it's moving through the eyes of love. And you want to kind of say thank you for what it is that you give to me. And this is kind of also a starting point of kind of acknowledging the connection of unity, because it's not, oh, I need to find this person or the responsible individual man. It's now the space of, okay, I need to tune in, find the frame of excitement that I'm currently feeling, even if that excitement is like, whoa, get that frequency away from me, and just be like, okay, cool. I know that I'm on the right path. I know that I'm free to live my experience, because the only way I can kind of have a negative experience is if I choose to engage myself into one. And that's, a learning lesson as well, because as human beings, we are going to make mistakes and we are going to experience loss, but the worst loss you can experience is the internal loss, because all loss is internal at the end of the day. Even the loss of a family member, which is horrible, and I'm very sorry for any that may be going through that. But it does come down to a feeling of the attachment with the internal mechanism. And it's almost learning to be okay with it, and to also know that that person might not be here, but they're more here than they ever really were. And to give thanks for them and, to keep them alive. Whatever way that is for you, because that's never going to be the same for everyone, nor should it be. And to know that internal love is actually the way to really love the external. You're going to want to love it so much that it allows itself to be known, and through that to die, because I feel like to love is to die, because the way that we feel about ourselves and that we choose to relate to ourselves changes because of all these triggers that start hammering because of, oh my gosh, I was doing that, oh gosh. And that's, it's a lot, We're not always going to want to have to, go through that. And nor should we. I do feel like there is a certain thing with boundaries, where you are wanting to, where you are wanting to kind of be loyal. And remember, the loyalty rests at the center of the circle. It's the starting point. And it might feel like it pushes your freedom out of the way, but it's kind of just learning to bring everything in alignment, because when loyalty is really properly there, loyalty and love and the freedom to express end up putting our view of death into a very different perspective, and starts to provide our attachments to take on a much more opportune space, because now we are the ones that are creating and have the opportunity to create. And this creation and this choice of life, when loyally done to ourselves and all that we've walked with and continue to walk with, because there is that thing of giving thanks to those that have helped you and who you have shared time and space with, but there are still boundaries, and those boundaries do exist for a reason. And even if it seems really ridiculous and you even find yourself wondering why as well, you have to listen to things as they are. We can't look to just avoid every red flag in the book, because that's not healthy. Boundaries. And this in turn affords us the world. And it affords us the world when we're willing to go a little bit beyond what other people have told us, and to actually find that we are the piece that is here to bring that piece in. And that's a whole other point, because that's what unity is. Unity is us all working together and choosing to create simultaneously for not just me, not just you, not just Pete or Peter or Sipo or any of these people, but for all of us. And that can be really fucking scary. Like, I'm gonna say it straight. That awareness, that level of connection can and is a lot. By definition, it's literally a lot. It's literally everything. But that's, the opportunity where we then get to create our music. And what music do you want to create? You want to generally create music from the soul. From the soul, for the soul. Someone amazing shared something with me recently, which is the idea of music tightening bands in our DNA when it's resonant. So it's kind of like, take the time to develop boundaries so that you focus on things that naturally allow that elevation of frequency by the resonance that it has to the very core and internal being of yourself. And again, you can only really know this because you see in this journey there are points where there are abysses, where there's the space in between. If you look at the Kabbalistic tree, there are these vast bits of space between points, and it's your wholeness of love, your fullness of heart is what will help carry you through all of these points. And sometimes those can be gut-wrenchingly tragic and devastating, and basically like a psychosis. But you can only throw the towel in, and the towel is only thrown in when you choose to throw it in. So I urge you to keep going. I urge you to find the rootedness and the groundedness to know that from this center, this fractal out, it's going to keep moving. And at some point, it's going to be really, really uncertain, and you're going to kind of lose a bit of it. But you're going to know that, what? I am full, I am whole, and I am capable. And as a result, I have got every single little piece I need to have it perfectly occur. And it's through the tuning of my soul, and it's these balances, because you got to think about it as you're tasting all these different flavors until it is that you're coming to, okay, cool. So I've got the basics of the lower one, so now I can start elevating and working better to kind of look through the eye of it. Because that's also what it is, it's an eye. So you're wanting to see that your eye is this metaphysical, multidimensional, multiversal piece of self. And fuck yeah, man. Fucking fuck yeah. It's a lot simpler than we like to think. It's a lot easier than we like to necessarily believe. Because we are humans, and humans are born and grown through strife, and we have a lot of people subconsciously reminding us that it needs to be difficult, that we need to go through less pain, and we are attached to it because it's easy to be attached to it. And if Pete, John, or Paulina are attached to it, then maybe I should be as well. But if it's in the way of your internal joy, and it's not allowing you the open space, the creativity to move in that space, then you're never going to get to the world, which is really where you are. But as you learn to let go of other people's attachments and kind of find freedom through the love and allowing those parts of yourself to die internally, to release and become, you'll find that there's a lot of peace, tranquility, calm, and equanimity. The ability to simply allow things to be as they are. All of them are together. All of them together as the water are. It's beautiful. And that can often look like needing to take the information that's given to you and work with it in just a slightly different way. Because it's your world. It's not, I'm not saying go out and live and loot everything. Not like that, guys. Touch wood. Let's be a bit more chill, bro. but to kind of come to more of a space of foundational building and be like, okay, what do I want? What don't I want? And how can I create forward motion in that? Because what I start and plant today is going to keep growing and reaping. And I can be afraid of what was planted, you know, in my childhood and all of these places. Or I can, you know, just get on with it and, you know, realize that those very same threads and elements, you know, the angels, God, Source, Creator, Krishna, all of these incredible energies of love, really, you know, really just flipping love, like love at the very core of it, the very center of it, as everything, the Tao, all of these things are moving through me because they are me and as me, and through that, we are whole. So we choose to be whole, and it is that we choose to allow ourselves to actually come home to the whole of ourselves. And that's always going to be based in love. You know, it's always going to be the right way to go through. So we're going to want to go ask the question. Be like, what's coming out of that? What do I look at it? Okay, let's see if I move with it. Okay, cool. Okay, cool. Okay. Okay, let's see. I got a little bit of a tune. Getting a bit in tune. It feels a bit, I don't know what's happening. Okay, cool. I've got an idea. Okay. So if I'm going to move forward, I'm going to want to be free. From the freedom, I'm going to move to a bit of love. I'll acknowledge the loss that comes with that, because it's potential. In order to have something, you have to lose something. The attachment's going to serve me in the way that I allow it to happen and release, because it's a part of the process, you know. You can only detach from something that you acknowledge you're attached to. That will give me the blank space to actually find my internal joy and the loyalty that's always been within me, as I get a glimpse of that through the process of my beating drum. Foundation for that gives me the opportunity and the wholeness to feel like I can move in my community in whatever way it feels right for me. I don't need to do it the way everyone else has done it, and that's going to give me my world and the whole world to me, right? And me to the whole world. Yeah, all of the ways. And that gives me this unified expression and being and process of living, and fuck yeah, guys. So yeah, you're going to absolutely nail it. I see such incredible things for you. And yeah, I look forward to checking in with you guys when it is that it next happens. As always, click like, click subscribe, comment, whatever form of interaction you do. Even if you just be like, fuck yeah, bro. Like, bro, that was some weird drawing, yo. Go to art school. Or like whatever. Like, I don't fucking care. But whatever level of interaction that you give to the packet of energy that's currently in front of you as a piece that's come off of my vibratory network, any level of interaction, engagement, or anything kind of puts you in and around that. Yeah, we're just about love, bro. That's pretty much it. Let's just flip and upgrade, level up, and get to the fucking banging tracks, bro. Yeah, I'm super excited to hear the frequencies that you guys keep banging out, and to the music that keeps flipping popping through it. Toroidal, Taurians.